Hello, hello, and welcome, my Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Path of True Love reading for April 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angela Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, and president of Drawing the Circle Productions. How you doing today? If you are new to my channel, please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I'm putting out content pretty much every day. And feel free to comment in the comment section below. Let me know what resonates here and what doesn't. Why? Because this is a general read, right? It's not a specific read. I actually have a client right after this video call on Facebook that I've got for an hour. So that's very different when you're tuning to one specific person. I'm tuning to an entire quantum field of a zodiacal sign, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. It's a lot. So please take what resonates, leave what does not. By all means, check your other signs. Get pieces of the puzzle for the path of true love. Because the path of true love is your journey, your spiritual journey, your spiritual path, your healing journey, your hero's journey through your relationships, romantic, sexual, and otherwise, right? Because ultimately it's all about your relationship with the divine that you truly are, becoming true love through every lesson you learn in every relationship in this life and every other life you've had. That being said, we're doing it a little bit differently this time because of the situation that's going on planet Earth, which I'm not going to mention by name or directly at all for Facebook, sorry, not Facebook, YouTube parameters, which I'm fine with and will work within to the best of my ability. This is about you being your own soulmate, right? How you can help yourself heal. Soulmate contracts are very different from twin flame contracts. There are some videos in the description box below that you can check out on those. One from me, one from the spiritual teacher, Matt Kahn. Yeah, very illuminating and a great new way of looking at it. His redefinitions are just freaking genius, if you ask me. So that being said, let's get down to business. If you will please remember to focus on your breath, to be present, to breathe as we go. My Capricorns, by the way, I am a Virgo, so I'm always happy to help another Earth sign, because we do need the information, and we do need that physical contact, and we just can't get it unless we've already got it around us, sheltering in place and whatnot. So this way I will stay in the present moment, be breathing as deeply and as clearly as I can to get you guidance and grace to help you through this. If you do the same, you'll be able to tell what resonates, what doesn't. Cool. Let's do this. Nice deep breath. Oh, before starting with the Caroline Mace archetype deck to get you one card, all the decks that I'm reading are in the description box at the very bottom. I'll call them out as I go. Gotta give credit where credit is due. Breathe. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, one card in clarity for this Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for April 2020. Please, what's the dominant archetype within their energy field, within their soul contract, within their soul pattern that they can alchemize from lead to gold to help them heal themselves, help them be their own soulmates, the mates of their own soul, for their well-being, for their well-being and for the well-being of all. April 2020. Thank you, my darling pantheons. Well, this is a tricky one, the Messiah archetype. I know. The shadow on this one's really, really rough, but the light on it is really, really beautiful as it goes with archetypal dynamics. Regardless, as bright as the light is as dark and toxic as the shadow, and vice versa. So the shadow attribute, exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed, which leads to martyrdom. Because we can't be all of that. We can't be, I mean, there are moments where we can serve, right? That we are a means through which a cause can succeed, certainly, but that really does exclude the whole idea of unity consciousness, which is really what Messiah's, or the message that they're giving, the Savior. They're saving us from the illusion of separation and all of the ills that come from it. So the light attribute Serving humanity with humility is just so much easier. You know, serving humanity in general is hard. I'm a Virgo, I know. But serving humanity with humility, knowing that you don't know, knowing that you're just one cog in the great divine machine, the Deus Ex Machina, right? Keep that in mind as we go through this, because the tendency for martyrdom and the spiritual ego for this one is pretty damn high. Particularly the divine feminine family, the Messiah ain't no joke, right? Messiah complex, not great. Particularly, you don't want that in a doctor or a healer, right? But I think we're all being handed our humility to us, not humiliation. Humility is the shield that keeps us from humiliation, because we know that we don't know and that we're just playing our role and playing our part. Got it? Let's keep going. Let's ask the angels what they think about that with the Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue. Nice deep breath. Yeah, I get it. Like, the earth signs can be a little more martyry than others. The angels just say, it's like, well, you know, Capricorn slow and steady wins the race, ruled by Saturn. It can be really rough for them, where they feel like they're the only ones that are going to do the work. And I get it. I feel that way as a Virgo a lot of the time. So let's ask the angels what we can do to help you love, heal, and mate your own soul. Be your own soulmate here, my angels. One card in clarity for the Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for April 2020. Give us an angel, an idea, something they can focus on to help them heal themselves, to help them mate their own souls, be their own soulmate for April 2020. That came out pretty easily. Power. So this is about acknowledging your own power, working with your own power. Now with the Messiah, I'm going to say divine power. Not just spiritual power, divine power, mystical power, that this power might be a mystery to you, as it often is. You know, there is this paradox within most scriptures with divine beings, that they come from very humble beginnings. Jesus in a manger, Moses sent downstream in a basket, right? So many of us are in very humble circumstances right now, and maybe this is about our time of rising to power. So keep in mind, you may be struggling, you might be in situations of limitation, but just like resistance training, we need often something to push against or to pull from in order to develop our power, our strength. But this does really feel like, oh God, I'm getting this so clearly, that of course you've suffered, we all have, but therein lies your power of humility, right? You're not going to look down your nose at somebody who's suffering, so therefore you can serve, right? So that you don't have to be their savior necessarily, but the belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed, that's spiritual narcissism, that's the spiritual ego in like a very twisted way. That's how you end up in really bad situations like Jonestown, like cult-like behavior. So really keep in mind that yes, you are powerful, but yes, your power is part of who you are, not just what you do, and that you can do it humanely. The Course in Miracles says, and this is a paraphrase, that arrogance is thinking that you're anything less than perfect, right? Humility is knowing you're perfect, but that you didn't create you, right? That you were created by the divine. So there's a given this mission, chosen to be in this life by the divine to fulfill a purpose, but not the only one, right? All of us are that. So it's an interesting balance, the Messiah archetype. That's why I'm a teacher. It's like, let me just be a teacher. I don't need to be anybody's savior. I am definitely teach a man to fish and not give a man a fish. Although, if I have an extra fish, I'll be glad to pass it along, except I don't fish. Anyway, so we're off to a very interesting, powerful beginning here. We're going to get you count them, 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot in the Element Spread, one I use a lot for the Path of True Love, but this time again tweaked a little differently. Usually I use these only for the voices of the goddesses, the divine feminine, however you want to see that. This time it's both for the gods and the goddesses, the divine masculine as well as the divine feminine, to save time a little bit rather than bringing in the mythic tarot I often use for the gods, right? Just trying to keep these brief. Upload times have been crazy making, so I'm just trying to keep them a little bit shorter this time around instead of the usual hour that I do. Nice deep breath. My gods and my goddesses sacred, please. One card. Sorry, top 5 cards. Element spread for the Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for April 2020, please. Air, Earth. The element of fire, what do they have? What do they do? What do they, oh, wow, just I am tongue twisted. One more deep breath. The energy's high on this one. I need to ground. My gods and my goddesses sacred, please. Top 5 cards, element spread for this Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, fire. What do they want that will help them be the mate of their own soul? Earth, what do they have to that end to get them there? Air, what are they thinking? Water, what are they feeling? Spirit, what is the point of view or the voice of their soul that they will be mating with potential of mating with for this April 2020, please. Top 5 cards, element spread. Thank you, my gods and goddesses, sacred, maiden, mother, crone. Thank you oh so very much. All right, let's do this. Element of fire. What is it you burn for? What is it you desire that you would choose, that you would decide that will help you mate with your own soul? Well, we've got the conflict card. Now, for starters, it's a fire card in the fire position, so I got that going for you. But that means a desire to resolve a conflict. Now, keep in mind, you cannot solve a conflict from the level of consciousness through which the conflict is perceived. You must transcend it. You must see it from a higher place. It's actually Albert Einstein, but again, I've never been a great direct quoter. I always paraphrase, get the general meaning there. But the great part of it is because it's in the element of fire, the fire card, one dragon with 2 archers pointing the arrow at each other, that it's the energy of conflict that are possessing both of them, right? That you have that in the fire position says that this is something that you want. Perhaps this is an inner conflict. Perhaps it's a theological, a religious conflict, a spiritual conflict, a semantic, like people will say, well, what's the difference between the higher self and the soul? I say, well, it depends on who you read, but ultimately, we're going to find out. Maybe not while we're in the body, but I don't think it cares what you call it. Just call it, right? Hey, higher self, soul, inner being, Christ self, Buddha self, whatever, transpersonal self. Who knows what it is? These are words. What are words for? But no one listens anymore. I just missing personed ourselves. Oh, okay. So let's see. What's your element of fire? What you have to that end? Well, you got the 5 of blades, the 5 of swords. Here we're looking at a lot of thought, right? And a lot of changing thought. So what you have is your ability to rethink things. You have the ability to stand in the center of the hurricane. Right? Hurricane's mostly air, different than the card of the storm, which is mostly water. This is really about getting in the eye, right? It's I learned it through studying 12-step things, Alcoholics Anonymous, etc. Keep it in the eye, right? It's not about you, it's not about them, it's about I. It's about what's going on in the eye. But here, it's the EYE as well, the eye of the hurricane. Get centered, right? Allow these thoughts. We are not our thoughts, but how often we identify with them and position and latch on to thoughts and not be willing to see things differently. This is definitely a card almost being forced to see things differently because there are so many thoughts. For example, there are going to be 2 examples. One is the toxicity of the well-meaning, giving you advice. Well, you know what you should do? And you should all these opinions and ideas, and it's all well-meaning, but a lot of times it comes from fear, particularly if you're in conflict. That's their story. Not that it doesn't have value for them, it just may not have value for you. The other thing is what I see happening on YouTube, and I did it a little bit myself, is where you watch reading after 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 reading, and it's like you can't remember all that stuff. Yes, it all goes into the subconscious, but when it starts contradicting itself, and they're like, say there are 5 different readers and they're all saying, like, nailing it, but all giving different outcomes, that can all be manifestations of the different quantum threads, the different probabilities of how things will go. But it is like being in a hurricane. It's too much for the mind alone to handle. So get that you might be able to resolve some of this conflict in the 4 by really finding that still point and allowing the thoughts to go through. Meditation, contemplation, although there's a card for that in this deck, I'm going to say really keep it in the eye. Don't be so ready to identify with any one particular thought system or outcome until the hurricane calms down. Safest place to be, not really, but metaphorically, is in the eye of the hurricane. Yeah. To let it all swirl around you until the dust settles. All right, what's going on, since we have such a powerful air card there, what's going on in your element of air, the mind, the thought? See, there is revelation there for you. The card of celebration in this deck is the card of judgment in the ordinary tarot, the classic tarot. Here we have women dancing in a circle. Looks like they're in the mountains, but if you look at it differently, right, change the way you see things, they are standing on the belly of the great Mother Earth, right, with the breasts in the foreground, pubic bush, the thighs in the background, and they're dancing around her navel, right, a center point. And yes, in celebration, a celebration of probably the resolution of this conflict. So it's in the mental field. And I really get the circular nature of these blades and the hurricane sort of spinning in the wind, and these women spinning around the mother's navel, as it were, with the full moon in the sky illuminating and showing a peak of energy, that there is resolution to this conflict available, but you're probably going to have to find some stillness amongst all the mental chaos for something to be revealed. It is definitely a card of revelation. Even in the Rider-Waite Tarot, the card of judgment is a scene out of the Book of Revelations. So something is ready to be revealed to you mentally, and that is a major arcana card. So the ego voices can definitely be a cloud in front of the moon, if you will. So you can't really see the moonlight because of all the static on the channel. Wow, you guys are mixing metaphor like crazy through me today. Oh, my client's going to have fun. Let's look what's going on in your element of water in terms of being your own soulmate, because this could be a revelation of your own soul, your own soulmate to you. What's going on emotionally? There it is, meditation, right? The 7 of blades. So to go from the 5 in the earth to the 7 of blades, here we have an ice fisher woman, technically person, I guess we would say now, but this is a feminist deck. So what do you do when you're ice fishing? That's what you do. I've never done. I've never been ice fishing. Not my thing. Very Wim Hof, though. Dive in. So it is that thing of holding your focus, right? Pacing yourself with your breath, waiting patiently. So do some emotional introspection, some meditation, to focus on your emotions. Love what arises, because that is the action of the soul working through you. In that way, we give ourselves the love that no one else can give us. And it's also highly confidential. Right? Nobody knows what's going on in your energy field, in the physical, but you. Right? So contemplate, meditate. Emotionally, the emotional part is the key. In other words, there's not just a rational, purely element of air revelation here. It is in tandem, the resolution of this conflict with what's going on perhaps in your emotional intelligence, right? What's going on in your heart and in your gut, kind of sort of that feeling emotional world there, your element of water. And keep in mind, even though she is ice fishing, there is the element of water under the ice, right? So you're going to have to go in with a single pointed focus perhaps, but that takes time, right? So Capricorn, slow and steady wins the race. Hang in there. One more card down. What is the point of view or the voice of the soul with which you are mated? The Lover's card. Now, I don't often say that this is a card of love and romance in that way, so much as the Lover's card always speaks to me about a life-changing decision. So, though this may seem like, oh, another day of, another month of spiritual practice, I'm sort of isolated, maybe I'm with somebody, maybe I'm not, but we're all being called inward anyway to get that this is a life-changing time. I mean, it's obviously a life-changing time. So if you're watching this, chances are the revelations, the mystical revelations, will come to you as a result of, I don't want to say hard work, but inner work, but that it is a decision that only you can make, a decision to love yourself no matter what happens, right? To be love. What would love do? Both inside and outside. Matt Kahn is the one who gave me the words. love what arises both within and without. I would call it embracing the shadow or rebirthing or inner child work. It's the same basic, ho'oponopono, all these modalities that we have. Don't worry about the form of how you do it. That will be shown to you. That will be given to you. Just jump in somewhere. It's holographic anyway. But to make the decision to love yourself no matter what, to say to that child of your heart, as I do often throughout the day, particularly when the kid gets scared, I love you, sweetheart, no matter what comes, no matter what goes, I'm here, I love you. Everybody else can go pound sand if they have to. They don't like you, they don't have to like you. I love you. You need to cry, you cry. You need to scream, You need to punch something. Well, we'll do some yoga, we'll work out, but you're not going to punch somebody. That's my role as the parent here. I'm not going to let you hurt yourself or anybody else, but I love you, and you are free to feel whatever you want, right? That's the slow and steady wins the race of mating your own soul, in my experience. What do I know? I am just witch. Let's get you a love pack card. Oh my God, all my decks are blending together. Decks, D-E-C-K-S, just to clarify. The Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, the voices of the Ascended Masters will use these, so take a nice deep breath. My Ascended Masters are the 4 suits in this deck: problem, luck, healing, and grace. Please, can we have one of those 4 suits, please? One card from one of those 4 suits for the Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love for April 2020, so they can better love their own selves, be their own soulmate, mate their own soul. Yeah, no, I don't want to choose between 2, please, just one, for the month of April 2020. Thank you, my beloved masters. Okay, expectations, one of the suit of problems. Keep in mind, half the deck is the suit of problems. So there's something here about expectations, yours or someone else's. Now, it's bad enough when somebody has expectations, hoops that they want us to jump through in order to prove our worth, which I understand certain things that way. I mean, my parents were like, go to school, get good grades. But even if I came home with a good grade, they were like, well, next time make it better. Like, they had very high expectations for me, as parents are supposed to. But it made me, in the long run, really an overachiever, and it was just about feeling inferior a lot of the time. And that's not their fault. That's something that I came into this life to heal, to love the inferior ego in me. Absolutely an emotional belief, thought overlay on my inner child. Of course that needs more love, not less. But it's bad enough when someone else does it, when we do it for ourselves, and we have expectations of how things will go. Carolyn May says, release the need to know the reasons why things happen the way they do and let go of expectations. There's a third one I can't remember right now. It's probably not totally relevant to what we're doing here. So just keep in mind, we all have expectations. We all want things to go a certain way, and sometimes when we get what I want, when we get what I want, when we get what we want, through an expectation, it's because it was the intuition just picking up on what was scripted in the divine plan anyway. So even then, it's not that our expectations served us, it's just luck of the draw, kind of, sort of. We were expecting something that was kind of destined, written to happen anyway. Few and far between in my experience, but what do I know? I am just professional intuitive. Let's get you then, to help with that, a healing mantra card from the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn, published by Hay House International. Lovely deck. One side of the card is the mantra, the other the name of the mantra. Nothing else is written on these cards, so then I can look it up in the little booklet that comes with it, or as I like to call it, ye old bookie book. Nice deep breath, please. Again, the voices of the Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity for the Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love. What is a perfect healing mantra for them, that they may help themselves heal as a soulmate would, that they may mate with their own soul, be their own soulmate, path of true love. April 2020. Cultivating courage. In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. Cultivating courage. In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. Now, you might not feel that way. Understandable. Some people do, some people don't. But this is really about the soul knowing and you being in tandem, mating with your soul. When courage is cultivated, you are aware of your choices and able to pinpoint your most inspired options with accuracy and ease. You really have to be in the present moment for this. Such options may not always match up with the things you want, expectations, but they will always give you the exact experiences you need to further evolve your soul. So this is how you mate with your own soul for this month, is by cultivating courage. As you cultivate courage, you are stepping into a new frontier of soul expansion, where life has permission to guide you forward into the fulfillment of your long-awaited destiny. And that's the thing. The hero is handed fate, and they take the hero's journey in order to alchemize that fate into destiny through their own experiences, right? Not always knowing what to do, but having to develop courage as they go. Take the journey, right? In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do, but in any given moment, you have to be present in that moment. This mantra is ideal for breaking old habits, right? Because it's like, well, I'm not going to do that thing I used to do, so what do? I don't know what to do in this. But in any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. It's a brilliant mantra for that. Deepening your focus, here and now, and following your heart, courage. The French word for the heart is cœur. It's the root of the word courage, to follow your heart in that way. Being brave, gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger, very Capricorn. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is true love will save the day. Let's ask your higher self. Through the Whispers of Love Oracle, last card down, then we'll pop up a picture of the spread and see what else comes to me. Shall we? The higher selves of all involved, please, one card in clarity for the Capricorn Collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, just one card. What is the whisper of love for them on the path of true love? That they can love themselves, that they can heal themselves, that they can help themselves heal, that they can mate with their own souls and be their own soulmate for April 2020. Or at least move in that direction. Slow and steady wins the race. See, when you go slow and steady wins the race, you don't have to go back and do things again. Like where Geminis maybe zigzagging back and forth. And I say that because they're mutable air, right? Air is really the true opposite of the element of earth. In the zodiacal sign, it's water, but water and earth are both feminine elements, air and fire masculine. So they're complementary opposites. Just showing you a little zodiacal knowledge there. The heart of the matter. There is more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about. Call it the Don Henley card. The thing is you've got this conflict that you want to resolve. Fire, but its opposite is water, right? But an air card in the position of water really is to get to the heart of the matter, get to the emotional heart of it. And isn't that interesting? Get to the heart of the matter with cultivating courage. Let's pop up the picture, see what else reveals itself. Nice deep breath. Magic lap. Okay, we start you off with the Messiah archetype in the shadow. Exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. That might be something at the heart of the matter. The light attribute, serving humanity with humility. And I don't know that martyrs necessarily have humility so much as they're operating from humiliation their own, or causing it for somebody else, manipulating people through their own sense of self-pity. In the shadow, in the light, however, to know that humility is the shield against humiliation, to say, hey, I'm doing my best, I know that I don't know, I am taking the hero's journey here on the path of true love. And the angel indicated there is power, that you have power here, though you may feel powerless, or that you're the only one that can make this work. Neither one of those is ultimately true. We're all in this together. So to take your power, to utilize your spiritual divine family power as a Messiah archetype, at least for this month, will greatly behoove you in what? resolving this conflict in your element of fire. You want to resolve this conflict. You desire, you have a burning need, passion to resolve a conflict. And what you have to help you do that is deal with that Five of Blades, to let all this information and idea and thought and theology and psychology and, my God, affirmations and mantras, and here you are getting more information from a reading. Hopefully this brings you some clarity, some guidance, some grace by staying in the eye, by finding the central point, to find that point of stillness while everything else spins in apparent chaos. And I say apparent chaos because chaos is divine order that we do not understand until we do. And here we go. In the element of mind, the card of celebration, definitely speaking of revelation, that things are not as they appear to be, hence that heart of the matter card there. There's a reflex point right there. There is more going on here that meets the eye. Recognize what all this is about, which is certainly indicated with the Seven of Blades and the meditation card in your water position, right? There is an emotional piece to this. How do you feel? What's going on? What's going on in your emotional field? Love is the answer. Love is the healing agent. Love is the expression and manifestation of your soul here that wants so much to mate with you to help you resolve your conflicts. But what it's asking of you in that card of the Lovers in the spirit position is a decision, not just a choice, a decision. Now, does that mean total surrender to the soul 24/7, 365? Maybe, but at least to turn in that direction and say, all right, whatever it takes for me to do this, I will do it, because I have to let go of my expectations of how long it's going to take, of how hard it's going to be, right? That shadow Messiah could very much be dragging across behind her or him. To really get that, I have to let go of my expectations, whether they're my own or someone else's. I have to take this journey. And how do I do that? By cultivating courage. With the mantra, in any given moment, I always know exactly what to do so that I can get to the heart of the matter, because there is more going on here than meets the eye, and I need to recognize what this is all about. That it does feel like the soul has the resolution to this conflict, knows exactly what power to use, knows exactly how you can serve humanity, because as one of us heals, all of us heal. That's the nature of unity consciousness in the quantum field that we are living in. So to really make that decision for yourself, what would love decide? What would love do? That's the decision you're being asked to make, so that you can mate with your own soul while cultivating the courage to do so. Pretty solid reading for Capricorn. I'm not saying that you don't get solid readings, I'm just saying, like a Capricorn, it's very solid. To me, Capricorn is the mountain, right? The mountain goat. But mountains are creative earth. Things grow in them, on them, through them. Right? There's stuff living in mountains we have no idea. Minas Tirith. Sorry, just had a Lord of the Rings flashback. So may the Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love, that they may mate with their own soul, that they may have the revelation, discover their own power, resolve the conflict through meditation, let go of their expectations, cultivating courage, getting to the heart of the matter by making that decision to mate with their own soul for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed on the path of true love for April 2020, my darling Earth sign Capricorns. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.